Right, so welcome to Data Popcorn and welcome to the session on MySQL indexing for dummies. This will be a very quick overview of indexes in MySQL and how they work and about their internals, making you understand how they work and what makes them tick. Right, so let's begin. So to start with, an index is a data structure that helps the database quickly find rows. This is a very simple explanation, and indexes can often be thought as something like the brain behind your query performance. That is, if your column has an index on it, a query is most likely making use of it to quickly find rows. But before it makes use of it, it has to understand what kind of index you're talking about, right? So we have either B tree indexes, either R tree indexes. These are the types of indexes available in MySQL. I would need to stress this. And other database management systems like PostgreSQL or other database management systems will have different kinds of indexes available for you to use. Regardless, MySQL has covering, composite, cluster, descending, full text, unique, hash, and primary key indexes in the B tree category, that is sort of vanilla indexes, and the rest of the indexes are considered to be R tree indexes, which is meant for geospatial data. Each type of index works differently, and depending on what kind of index you choose, it depends on what kind of use case it can assist you in. So this is true because of indexing internals, right? So whether your database uses the index and what kind of index does it use, it directly depends on your SQL queries and on your database structure, right? So on the screen right now, you can see how an index looks like and what MySQL thinks and how it thinks before using the index. So it decides whether it can use a covering index, that is, can it read data from the index instead of from the disk? If not, can another type of index be used? If not, then no index is used and data is read from the disk. If yes, the database uses another index and performs operations like index scans, thus making your query speed significantly faster, right? If a covering index is used, data is read from the index instead of from the disk, and query speed is also so much faster. So indexes have a couple of parts you need to understand, first of all, before dealing with them, right? So there are indexing essentials, there's explain queries, there's analyze table, and there's index statistics. Each of those things have significant drawbacks and upsides regarding to indexes. So indexing essentials means everything related to them, right? Explain queries mean that they let you understand how your database runs the query. Analyze table, it allows you to inspect the table structure and what's happening behind the scenes sort of in your database to make the query stick. Index statistics also provide you with statistics about how indexes are used. So this is very important to understand as well. Internals, these things, what you see on the screen right now, is what you would see after you would run an explain query. In an extra column, you would either see using where, using index condition, using file sort, or impossible where noticed after reading const tables. These things are usually meant to make you understand how your indexes are used. So if you see using file sort, that means the disk is probably accessed. Using where or using index condition means that your index is used. And impossible where noticed after reading const tables means that your where clause doesn't make any sense. So you have to redo it and check on your query once again. Before using the indexes, and to make sure that your indexes are used properly, you have to come up with an action plan. And an action plan requires sort of 3-4 things, right? It requires to have a use case. It requires you to choose an index type and apply it. And after you choose an index type and also apply it, you also need to test and deploy it. So either you run queries with the explain clause and then figure out how they work internally and what kind of indexes are they using, or you are making tests the other way around locally or something like that. So takeaways here are two things. One of them are two sort of camps. One of them is more important, the other one is sort of less, but all of them intertwine, right? So covering indexes, they mean speed. You can use indexes and partitions to make your queries even faster, even though we didn't really touch upon in this talk. Index the column after the where clause for best performance, and you also need to select only the necessary rows for performance reasons, because the more rows you select, the more slower your query will be. Indexes also have an impact on storage engines and your configuration, so configure your database properly. Data types and character sets sort of are also in play here, because they're all part of your database architecture. And before indexing, consider, does indexing make sense and what columns are indexed for the best performance. So thank you and good luck in your indexing journey. You can reach me on my website at lukasvileikis.com, or you can read my book at hackingmysql.com. Thank you.